This article was posted December 26th, so it's a few days old, by the Asahi Shimbun. It's the Asia and Japan Watch. There's a 5-year prison term sought for former TEPCO executives. Prosecutors on December 26th demanded 5-year prison terms for 3 former executives of Tokyo Electric Power Company over the disaster caused by a tsunami slamming into the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant. It was easy to safeguard the plant against the tsunami, but they kept operating the plant heedlessly, the prosecution said at the trial of the Tokyo District Court. That led to the deaths of many people. Tsunehisha Katsumata, 78, former chairman of TEPCO, Sakemuto, 68, former vice president, and Ichiro Takikuro, 72, former vice president, are standing trial on charges of professional negligence resulting in death and injury in connection to the triple meltdown at the plant in 2011. According to the prosecution, the failure of the 3 to take countermeasures against tsunami led to the deaths of 44 people and the injuries of many others. From what I understand, those injuries are still being affected around the globe.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know about globe as far as, I mean, maybe, I guess, there's a lot of speculation, like the red tide that happened in Florida last year has something to do with radiation levels in the water. The fact that our ocean levels are warmer now than they're supposed to be for this time of year. Well, I don't know if that has to do with that. I think that's just more global warming. Well, like I said, there's speculation. It'd be hard to that kind of thing. I'm not like buying into, but as far as definitely regional damage is going to be going on for a long time. You know, I mean, I guess it's no different than us dropping bombs on them, and like that took a long time to get over. A very long time. A lot of damage. But yeah, I read that article and I thought to myself, were they expected to put up like dams or something? Like, what was expected? Like, it wasn't made clear, I don't think, in the article. Like, what they were expected or that they should have done. Here's a... It just seems like it was a poorly designed building in the first place. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was like, oh, well... Well, and when they knew the tsunami was coming, they should have shut the nuclear plant down, but they didn't. That's the big issue. Doesn't it take like a really long time to shut down a nuclear power plant? I don't know. I don't know the process. From what I understand, it's probably not just like hitting an on-off switch, but yeah, there's apparently they didn't take any measures at all. Maybe if they knew this, so are they trying to blame them from the time the tsunami hit to when it actually hit, or like, I mean, when they got notified of that till the time it got hit, were they exposed to do something, or they're talking more like? From what I gathered, it was more like preemptive that they were getting in trouble for. I think it's a combination of the two. Huh. I'm trying to find some recent numbers on radiation. Because as of February 2017, the report said the radiation level at Japan's crippled Fukushima nuclear power plant are still at unimaginable levels. Well, I mean, yeah. What's a half-life on nuclear waste? Like 10,000 years or some shit? Here's the most recent that I can find out right away. This was... Like, the immediate area is not going to be okay for a very long time. Right. In no one's lifetime. No, these reports are basically... alleging that it's affecting the entire Pacific Ocean still to this day. And it will for long ass time. More than 7 years after the March 2011 Fukushima nuclear crisis, radioactive water is continuing to flow into the Pacific Ocean from the crippled No. 1 plant at the rate of about 2 billion becquerels. I'm not familiar with that word. 2 billion becquerels a day, a study has found, whatever a becquerel is. The amount of leaking cesium-137 has decreased from some 30 billion becquerels in 2013. Michio Aoyama, a professor at the Institute of Environmental Radioactivity at Fukushima University, said in his study,
which was presented Wednesday at an academic conference in Osaka. I don't know if I would believe somebody that is professor at the Institute of Environmental Radioactivity at Fukushima University, because Fukushima University is attached to the power plant and it's ran by.
Well, I think they're just the same city. I don't think they're the time.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh. Like, I don't think they're the same thing. I think they're just in the same city.
Yes.
But also, like, when people measure, like, the radioactive levels, it's like people don't realize, or most people don't realize, there is radiation everywhere. Like, there's the same, not the same level, but the same type of radiation in this room right now. There's background radiation all over the planet.
Right.
And some places are a little higher than others, but like the amount of how big the ocean is, I can't imagine.
I think it's the type of radiation that is the concern, though.
It's the same type is still found as part of background radiation. Like, it's just a naturally occurring thing that happens on Earth. And I'm basing that on about 20 videos and a bunch of articles I read years back, like shortly after the thing happened in the first place. So I can't like quote you exact specific stuff because it's been a few years since I read that stuff.
Cesium-137 is not the average everyday radiation that we encounter in our lives.
But I bet you there's background of it. I would bet you. But my point was, I don't think it's doing that much damage to the Pacific Ocean. I mean, the Pacific Ocean is fucking huge.
Well, you know what? If there's scientists saying it is, I'm going to believe them over.
I mean, sure, it has a small, minute thing, but I don't think it has. It doesn't.
You think it's overrated?
I think it's just,
which is fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but I think you're full of shit.
Like, there's still fish floating around in there.
Not nearly as many.
I think that's because we're fishing them.
Or there's a lot of things contributing to the death of them. There's a lot of things contributing to the demise of our ocean water. It's not just radiation from Fukushima.
It's Matt Lowe eating all the fucking fish.
That could have a lot to do with it. Hey, Lexi, thanks for joining us. There are 4 different types of radiation. 4.
I think there's more than that, isn't there?
Well, there's various types of radiation, but the common ones, the ionizing radiations, that generally take place in everyday life are alpha radiation, beta radiation, gamma rays, and neutrons. And I'm not going to care to study the difference between any of them.
Neutrons are kind of bad, I think.
Neutrons are uncharged particles and do not produce ionization directly, but their interaction with the atoms of matter can give rise to alpha, beta, gamma, or X-rays, which then produce ionization. Neutrons are penetrating and can be stopped only by thick masses of concrete, water, or paraffin.
That's why they put like bunkers deep down in concrete and lots of layers of it.
Or they say they do in places like Hanford and they really just dig holes and dump it in the earth.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why we have volcanoes boiling over all over the place.
That's cool. I'm okay with it.
Sooner we go, the better. Is that?
No,
You got a lot of video projects to finish before a natural disaster takes place. The radiation from Fukushima got caught up in the Pacific jet stream. Yes, it certainly did.
I think
there's
overall,
still traces of it there.
Our planet can absorb, does a really good job of recycling all these atoms and particles and things that make up existence here on planet Earth. I think the Earth does a great job of that. I think the number one thing that affects us as a society and population is global warming, more than like that stuff per se. Because, and I think those things are I think global warming is somewhat, we can make a huge difference in that just by creating more reflectivity on Earth. Because then we won't retain as much heat, and the greenhouse effect will slow down.
Right.
Just by creating much more reflectivity. So essentially, to make it really dumbed down, paint. I mean, not actually paint, but if we were to paint large areas of the planet white, like large spaces on the planet white. I mean, obviously, we're not going to paint it. I'm just using that as a dumb term, but like to simplify it.
I'm trying to visualize.
So, like what? Like that's why the. So when we have a larger ice cap, and when we have go through, what's it called? Global freezing, ice ages.
Okay.
So it's much harder for the greenhouse gases to build up. So that's why we stay cooler as a plant, because there's a much whiter surface on it, so the radiation from the sun bounces back off. It doesn't get absorbed and retained within our own between the atmosphere and Earth. Now, when you have less of it, that's how you get a runaway greenhouse effect. So, like the planet that's closer to the sun from us, what is it called? That's what goes on there. Is because they don't have it's closer, but their atmosphere is a lot thicker. Venus, yes. So at one point in time they weren't nearly as hot, but because they had a runaway greenhouse effect, it just maintains its heat, super
Yep,
hot.
Lexi got it.
Boom.